Hello and welcome once again to another episode of Lean Living. Today I'd like to discuss raw milk. Okay, so raw milk, it's the evil thing that the FDA in the US and various other parts of the world is labelled slightly not so good for your health. It's pasteurised, it's messed with, so you have like low fat milk, various other things like that. And quite a few people are what's known as lactose intolerant. Now, some may argue that the human body isn't able to, or is not meant to, ingest milk past a certain point. There are arguments for this. It's a perfectly valid point, but it's a fairly good source of nutrition. I mean, it's quite bizarre that when you think about it, like getting milk from another animal. To actually kind of drink it yourself, but it's been done for quite a few years. Originally, actually, before we started milking cows, the main thing for main animal we used to milk was horses. In fact, that's what they were actually first bred for. But that's a little sidetrack, taking me a little bit off where I was actually wanting to go. But I've always got all these weird facts in my head, so I just thought I'd throw it in there. But anyway, so raw milk. What is the problem with it? How come there are so many people that are lactose intolerant? Well, the fact is, you see, with the need for pasteurization is because it's factory farmed. It's a grand scale industrial type of farming, which is the method which is used today. And when you have something on such a grand scale, the animals have to be medicated because they often suffer from issues of mastitis and stuff in the actual teats, and other things because they're milked on such a regular basis. It actually produces pus, and obviously having pus in your milk is probably not a good thing. So what they do is they pasteurize it so none of this stuff is passed on. The medication is actually passed on to you, but they don't want to let you know that. Okay, so but the good thing about like raw milk is the reason people have a problem with it is mainly because when you don't pasteurize something, there are many enzymes in the actual milk. Now, one of these enzymes actually helps you digest it. So by pasteurizing it, you're actually destroying some of the actual enzymes which actually help assimilate the nutrients into your body, and that is one of the problems which happens when you mass farm something and actually produce it on such a large scale. The other thing is that when you are doing things like removing the fats and making things low fat and various other things like that, you probably don't want to be drinking that either. You can't. We're in a whole mindset these days of actually low fat this, low fat that. The fact is, it's pretty much been shown these days. In fact, if you look at the recent articles, which are, it's hard to kind of sift through what's real and what's not because there's various kind of fads and stuff. But fat isn't the actual problem; it's mainly sugar. And when there was a study done, think back in the 70s, I think it was a 7-country study, maybe more. I'm really terrible at remembering numbers. But essentially, there was a scientist who actually put forth a proposition that the amount of fat in people's diets was what was causing like a mass obesity. The truth is, actually, it's nothing to do with fat. If you find those who actually into the paleo diet and actually kind of go along that kind of line of thinking, your body can only assimilate so much fat. So if you try and eat your way through a stick of butter, you'll only go so far before you feel quite full and quite ill. So the body has a cut-off point for that. Not so much the case with sugar. So when the scientists actually came forth with this study, the agricultural industry jumped on it because what it meant that they could actually produce and actually sell and put out a lot more carbs, which are essentially kind of simple forms of sugar anyway. They're kind of like slightly different in their kind of chemical construction and stuff, but that's basically the same kind of thing, which the body doesn't actually store or use the same way that the body uses fat. It's actually as soon as you have sugar in your system, it actually kind of stores it as fat. So that's the problem with that. But anyway, just a few points I thought I'd make to you. Somebody actually piqued my interest and thought, well, I know a few things about this. It may seem a bit all tinfoil hat and stuff, but if you look at the actual studies and things, then you will be able to find these facts on the internet, backed up several sources, not just the one, because that's always a oh, that's another rabbit hole I'm not going to disappear down to on this one. But anyway, so I hope that's of some use to you. I've probably missed out things here, so it's just to pique your interest. If there's any points that you have to make, just make them in the comments below. Give me a thumbs up on the video, that'd be brilliant. And yeah, have a good day, and I'll speak to you soon.